All the rolling go, where am I to go? Meet Johnny, where am I to go? For I'm a young and a sailor lad, and where am I to go?
Hello and welcome to Where Am I to Go? Today we are at a really interesting museum. I had no clue that this place was even here. We are in Pocatello, Idaho at the Museum of Clean. And what could they have at a Museum of Clean? Well, I can tell you, I showed up here a little bit early and walked around here. This place is absolutely amazing. The amount of stuff that's in here is absolutely amazing. And today we're with owner of this museum, Don Aslett, and he's going to walk us on through, talk to us about some different things, and I hope you guys all enjoy. This is just a phenomenal place. It's here in Pocatello, Idaho, and Don, tell us a little bit about Pocatello, if you would.
Well, Pocatello is an old railroad town from about 100 years back, and it's where I went to college. That's why I'm in Pocatello. Idaho State University is here, and that's where I started my cleaning business in 1958. I've been 64 years in the cleaning business. That's why I started the museum. So I've been cleaning toilets for a long time, Loren.
Well, it sounds like you've been cleaning toilets for a long time.
When people come, the first thing, museum, first of all, cleaning is a hard sell. We punish our kids with it. You know, your little snot behavior, you clean your room. You kids better behave, you have to clean. So clean is a hard sell. People come here not expect a bunch of mops and brooms. And it's just a whole city block. We're selling the value of clean, not how to clean, but be clean. You know, clean arteries, clean language, clean manuscript, clean glasses. So that's what the museum is. And Loren, I think it's interesting, there's a lot of sense of humor in this place.
Oh, the little bit I've been walking around, there's a lot of humor in this place.
I did 5,000 TV things like this, but I made cleaning fun, I made it humorous. Generally, cleaning is a punishable thing. So the whole museum, it's big, it's about 70,000 square foot of stuff here. The old building that was built here years ago, a 6-story building, we remodeled and done it really well. We're going to have roof sheep on top of this one over here. It's going to be an environmental building. We're going to hope to be a gold, silver, or platinum. That's what it's going to be. But Loren, we have unique things like around the back of you. See that form of that little kid? I built a thing out of a giant vacuum the kids get inside of. Stand and we push a button, sucks those little buggers right against the wall, sucks your little baby braces off and everything. So we got this big globe. When I estimated this, I thought I was going to build this big globe for $30,000 or $40,000. $140,000 later, I got it finished. But it's a big world with kids playing. But everything in this museum is related to clean. That's the hardest thing with the museum. People bring you guns and they bring you tires and they bring other things, but this is everything in here. The only thing that's not clean in this museum is an iron. The iron clothes with. I allowed that in, but everything else goes. People bring me things and I said, nope, go on it. So there's a mile of displays, Loren, in here. There's over 10,000 pieces in here. As we go through, we bring up.
Now, when he's talking about this kid area, we've got a ball in here that's probably 20 foot in circumference. It's got stairs going up it. It's got playthings in it. It's got all kinds of stuff, and it's all wire meshed, and really a cool looking, fun looking area.
The kids love to be in this. They go in here. It's a big area. It's not Tiffany's, it's more Cracker Barrel, Loren. We're kind of farming it, but it's good. But it's a museum. I've not fixed stuff up. As I show you as we go along the main thing, you'll notice we've got a raccoon there doing cleaning. I tell everybody it's my skunk, but it's a raccoon. So you'll see all sorts of things, but you'll see old things. Most all it's back in the 1820s and 1830s and 1840s.
And what he's talking about is we've got a terrarium here that's got a raccoon that's been stuffed, and he's holding a mop, doing some cleaning of his little area there. But this display right here has got an old vacuum that's hand bellow operated. He's got all kinds of little cleaning products, lye and Acme lime, and just all kinds of stuff. Water bottle.
Kind of an old store sample.
Right.
And also this wet floor sign, it's 8 foot big. It's a Texas. We got a whole bunch of Texas stuff in there. Kids love it. Everything's oversized in this.
You wouldn't miss that wet floor sign, would you?
We also have people from all over the world coming here. And so I've got signs up here that are big rotating discs.
But the thing I see that's intriguing is you've got an old wringer washer that you have cut one side out of and made a chair out of.
Yes, yes.
It still has the wringer off to the side. And
I noticed this pump vacuum, Loren. There's a pump vacuum here. 60 years in the clean business, I had never seen one of these pre-electric vacuums. I got the Logan Utah, and I paid like $200 for it. And I said, you know, I'm going to find some more of these. I found out there was a guy who had a collection in Boston of pre-electric vacuums. Wrote a check for $300,000 and got 250 of these vacuums. So then I had the biggest collection in the world. And then once you get that, everything's you're the man, so then they send you things. So I got another 200. So we have 400 of these pre-electric vacuums. Most collectors have 2 or 3.
And when he's talking about pre-electric vacuums, what we've got is a vacuum that's probably 4 foot long. It's got a tube on it and a handle that you can hold on to with one hand, and the other one you raise up and down in order to create the suction. And then, you know, we've got bellows type vacuum cleaners. None of these have a cord on them. They're all just hand operated. Oh, now here's one that's foot operated. The bellows are foot operated. Now, how in the world did you make that go forward?
You didn't. You cleaned it one place, and the hose came out from this. And you took the hose out and held the hose 20 foot away from it. It's like a giant skateboard, back and forth. You go back and forth. That's where you get your suction.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Wow. Yeah, and when I was looking around here earlier, you've got so many that are operated off of like a bellows system.
Yes.
or a pump system where you pull and it creates the suction.
Yeah, and those bellows, and Loren, those bellows, I tell people we found out some of those things we found were made, those bellows were made of pig gut, some of those bellows were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you know how we found that out?
No.
When we started to move the vacuum, it went oink, 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 oink.
Okay.
And you notice on the wall a Johnny Carson clock. I did probably 5,000 seminars and TV shows. Oprah, I did all those shows. But Johnny Carson died before I got on his, but I made that clock for him. So, you know, it's like hanging on the wall. So some of the stuff you see, you wonder where it comes from, but it came from TV shows they did.
Okay. And you've got so much artwork. We're going to talk about this artwork as we go through this, because we've got the old double sink wash tubs that you've got the front cut out of that are made into chairs. You've got garbage cans that were cut out that are made into chairs. You've got an old clawfoot bathtub that's made into a love seat.
And you notice also how light it is in this museum. I spent millions of dollars on this, Loren, but I put windows so you can see, beautiful big windows all through the whole city block, so you can see it isn't, most museums are dark.
Right.
But this is not dark, man. This thing's a light place.
It is, and it's such a nice looking building too.
It's a beautiful building. It's a whole city block. There's a big giant truck here that was a big New York milk truck was brought to Los Angeles. The guy fixed it up, made it into a cleaning truck. Put $40,000 into this truck, and it's a beautiful big truck. And then he, National Lab, and then he donated it to me. He said, do you want this? It's in my garage. Do I want it? Man, I couldn't, fell over backwards to get it.
And what we're looking at is what, a 1940?
1950, 50-year-old Divco truck.
A 1950 Divco truck. It looks like the old milk truck. It's painted kind of a dark brown maroon color. Really a pretty truck, and it says National Brand Sanitary Supplies on it. It's a beautiful truck. The guy did a lot of really nice work. The inside's all stained plywood that's a light color. And he's got vacuum cleaners and mop buckets and floor scrubbers and all kinds of things in here.
Loren, thank you for seeing it and noticing that. That is a real work of art. A lot of people see how big and impressive it is. They don't look at it in detail like you have. I'm really impressed with what you could see, but it's a beautiful, beautiful job, and all the stuff that's been hand-picked is put in there very careful. Everything looks like it's just casual, but it hadn't. It's taken years. Really careful.
Yeah, and the things that you've got in there on display are impressive too.
You can see some more of these vacuums that have the bellows. They have hand cranks and hand pumps and foot pumps and everything else to make them go.
And some of these vacuum cleaners, the one that we're looking at in particular, is made out of wood. It's got a set of bellows in the center and a hand crank on the side that works the bellows back and forth off of a cam. And it's got some little metal wheels. This thing probably weighs, what, 50, 60 pounds? Yes, the old housewife had a chore moving that around.
Or the houseman, yeah.
Or the houseman. Honey, can you come move the vacuum cleaner again?
Again, on the wall, you'll see buffer pads made into clocks. One year we made clocks.
Oh, yeah.
One year we made beds. 1 year we made mailboxes. 1 year it had to be made out of cleaning things. So in our year convention, we had these displays. We had race cars and everything made out of cleaning things. Interesting.
Well, and then you've got some toilet clocks too.
The toilet pads that are all made all different things.
Yeah. This is really a neat museum. Like I said,
Loren,
the amount of stuff you have in here is just phenomenal. And I'm only on the first floor.
The variance of it, Loren, is what I said. You wouldn't expect it for anything. It had to be mops and brooms, but they're not here. But notice this. This big thing, I ask people what this is, they can't tell.
It's a honey extractor.
I give a hint to you. I would be very impressed if you knew what this was. You'd be very smart, and people can't guess, but I tell them. But the honey comes down in here and I spin it. The honey comes out, so you clean the honey out of the comb. So everything in here, I go back, is cleaning related.
Right. And what we're looking at is like a 55-gallon drum that's got two hive holders, the hive holders that they take out of the beehive, and you can put them in there, and then it's got a centrifugal hand crank that spins that, and the honey extracts through centrifugal force.
Boy, that's well described. I think I need you standing here giving it a tour.
I've used one. Believe it or not, Don, I have used one. And the thing that was interesting about it is when you got all through, you were covered with honey. So you'd walk around licking your arms and, you just couldn't get enough honey, but it was all over you.
Well said. Then someone brought this, and we had it 2 years, didn't know what it was, but it was a watch cleaner. This is a complicated thing. It looked like a big mix master on your counter. But a watchmaker came in and said, he put the watch parts in it, spun them and cleaned them like a... Doesn't that look what you make? You describe things really well, Loren. How would you describe?
Well, you've got a base that's made out of, it looks like cast aluminum, and you've got 5 jars sitting in it with a little spinner with a screen on it and a motor up on top, kind of like a Dremel tool that you would use that in your shop. Not the little handheld ones, but the bigger ones. And what did they do? Did they push it down into the different cleaning solutions in those jars?
It's about 1919, so that motor's 19 years. That motor's 100-year-old.
But it's an electric motor.
Electric motor. I didn't know they had electric kitchen motors at that time, but they did.
Yeah, and then you would dip it down into the solution and bring it back up and spin it out, again using centrifugal.
This little thing I got in my hands, a hoof cleaner for elephant hoof cleaner in a Mizzou. So we have odd cleaning things.
Now that looks a lot like a horse hoof pick,
for horses too.
But they use them. But that was for an elephant.
So
I didn't know that they trimmed elephants' hooves. I thought they had toenails.
I don't know what they did. So yeah, some things displayed, just lots of little things like record cleaners.
Now this thing here looks wicked. I don't know what it's for.
Duster. That's a duster.
That's a duster. Okay, it's a handle that has leather straps, about 15 leather straps
like
that come on down, and it looks like something that they'd use in the olden days to beat the heck out of people.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And then there's some chainmail here too.
That's a chore girl for a kitchen, 1880. How you did your frying pans and your cleaning stuff.
We have one of those modern times. I can't remember. I got it offline someplace, but it's a chainmail. We always use cast iron, and so it's a cast iron chainmail cleaner.
You're one of the first people that's had one of these. I thought they were the oldest in the world. And you're an old guy, Loren.
Well, no, these are modern.
You look like
they make them. Well, yeah, I'm not nearly as old as you.
You look 50, but.
Well, we'll go 59.
You'll see also here something really. Every museum has a dinosaur, and here's about a 15-foot dinosaur, all made out of cleaning gear, out of a vacuum cleaner. Really.
Yeah, we've got one of the little pull behind vacuum cleaners that he used for the head, and then you've got the vacuum tubes coming on down, and then all the little, it looks kind of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The little part that you pull off in the front where the brush goes, he's got some of those for some of the spine pieces, and then all the little attachments coming down the back.
It really works. People really like it.
Yeah, a lot of the artwork here is really, really interesting.
We have people guess what all these things are.
We're looking at another wood box. It's about 3 foot high and has 4 sets of bellows on it, and little wheels on the back and a hand crank on top.
And the bellows go back and forth with the suck, and then the hose comes out of the bottom.
Okay, and it's got a big turn crank on top that when you turn, the cam turns these bellows and keeps them sucking continuously.
Good description. You're describing. I've been here all night. I can't describe things that well.
Well, I've got to do it, otherwise they won't know what the heck I'm looking at. If I just say, boy, that's a neat piece, nobody will listen to my podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
I'm having a hard time getting people to listen to my podcast anyway.
This display case has several things in it, but in the middle, last year, a softball team from Washington, D.C., all little grandmas, softball team of grandmas came, a famous team. And they love the museums. When I got back, they sent me this whole little set of stuff about the softball team. But Loren, there's a little brush they sent me in there. What's that little brush used for?
This one right here?
Yes.
It looks like a shoe shine brush of some sorts or another.
This is a ball game you use at the park. See,
the umpire must have pulled it out and brushed off the ball.
Exactly what it is.
There you go.
People give me statues. You see, we have this surprise everybody. We got a beautiful, beautiful art room. Some of the art in that's 2,000 years old. Art cleans your mind like soap cleans your clothes. Now you think about it, we're talking the whole dimension of clean, not how to clean, but the dimension of clean. That's what makes us really unique in the world. And this real quick to the art room. The art room's a good thing. It's got beautiful lighting in.
It does have very nice light. You've got some magazine advertisements.
Those are put in. Generally, we have somebody bring artwork every month. A different artist in the county or the country brings their art and displays it in here. Good.
Every month, this whole room changes out.
Just the center.
Just the center part. Okay.
So you notice we opened King Tut's tomb, and look how we found the little baby janitor in King Tut's tomb, little 4-foot janitor with a mop, and we got a mummy here.
He's got a mummy made out of mop strings that's all there holding the mop.
We got a Van Gogh clock, a Starry Night clock, Van Gogh. Got a scrubbing pad made in it, but all the stuff's made into artwork. It's beautiful artwork.
And now who makes all this? Do you make it?
Different artists in the world make it. And
then send it to you.
My brother did this dancing with mops, a beautiful statue of a guy dancing with mops made out of stuff that you put in cars.
And he's got his headphones on and probably listening to some good music.
Now some I bought this lady with a bucket of bronze, beautiful bronze. It was $8,000, but you'll see the statue. It's on an old wagon wheel and everything. But my farm, my ranch is on Oregon Trail. I found this in the back of my place, Ben.
Really?
So this could be 100-some years old. It's a beautiful base on it.
And what he's got is some wagon wheels that are missing some of the outside, some of the spokes. Very old looking, but they are the old wheel hubs off of a wagon. And he's got 3 of them here, and then mounted on top is this bronze with a lady carrying a bucket.
But that I bought. It cost me a lot of money. And then these other art pieces, one lady took to do this Rembrandt girl with a bucket, beautiful pictures, big 4x4. The things are 3x3s and 3x4s. And she took 5 years to do this, so it's really beautiful. But you see all of these. We have Sturgill here. This is a squeegee for a Sturgill. It's 2,500-year-old. It's cased. It's where the Roman men scraped the sweat off their bodies.
That's what a Sturgill is.
That's what it is. And then
okay, that was a word I was not familiar with.
That's where the word squeegee came from. They sold the sweat to the rich Roman women some way. I don't know how it did, but
and why would a rich Roman woman want man's sweat?
I don't know. Must have aphrodisiac something. I don't know, but I didn't ask questions. It was 2,500 years old. The rich lady that owns, her dad owns an oil company. Picked this stuff up in Europe and across the world while she traveled. She donated this stuff to the museums. That's where a lot of this came from. Got some great art in this.
I could be rich.
Here's what I'm going to stump you on, Loren. I try to stump people on, but who's that little girl up there with a box of Kleenex under her arm? Maybe Linda can. I bet Linda can tell you who that is. Who do you think that little girl up there? Picture. She's very famous.
I have no idea.
That's little Lulu.
Lulu, yes.
Little
okay.
Lulu, yeah.
So we got that. So those are, see, they're old. We try to get stuff that people can't get.
Now, is this a popcorn popper with a ringer on the side of it, or what is that?
That's a wash machine.
Oh, okay.
It's a little baby wash machine.
Oh, a toy.
Kids, by the way, Loren, kids' toys are really rare. They're hard to get, and I got a few kids' toys, but kids' toys, if anybody's got kids' toys, we need them. They're really rare.
Okay, you guys heard that. If you have any of the old kids' toys, cleaning related, he is looking for those.
When we take people on a tour, we tell them certain things like that little, because Maud Humphreys did that picture up there. It's a pretty famous bathroom picture of a girl with a tub. But that's Humphrey Bogart in a dress. Maud Humphreys, a famous artist, she used Humphrey Bogart to dress up and to pose for him. So that's
and it's just it's a girl that looks like she's about 10 years old with an ivory soap sitting on the stool and a round pen, and she's got her dolls and dresses and everything inside the tub and hanging up the little doll clothes.
You're really good, Loren. That's exactly right. It is. This was 2,000 years old. This, I guess you call it a vessel. There's a famous Dewey painting of the Savior washing his apostles' feet. Big painting. And underneath we actually have a thing that exactly matches. It's 2,000 years old. This thing is 2,000 years old.
It says a Roman terracotta juglet. Jericho, 50 BC through 50 AD. That could have washed Jesus' feet.
Exactly right, what we said. I had this.
Wow.
I had this in a safe deposit box for a long time. The heck with it. I'm going to display it, so I put it in glass and put it in the museum.
Wow, that's just
And you can tell
unbelievable. We're
everywhere.
looking at a vase. It's kind of a water vase. It's probably 8-10 inches tall, has a handle on the top that comes on down. It doesn't have any painting on it. Maybe the paint wore off or the glaze wore off, but it's just a terracotta look. And
It's documented to be old. How reasonable that is, I don't know, but we paid. It was $2,000 for it. The lady that donated. There's some really weird. There's people paint on silk. There's a farmer one who shows a bunch of shovels made in little kids cleaning the barnyard. But you see, we're cleaning everything. We're cleaning the barnyard. Odd thing you would find in an art room, like for example, there was this they bound the feet of the little Chinese ladies, and look at those little 3-inch shoes of Chinese ladies they bound.
oh man,
I got the tools that cleans the little bound feet. See, we have this clean stuff to do, so it's really unique.
yeah.
Isn't that terrible?
And that was a common thing in China, was to bind the feet and make it to where they had super small feet. I've never seen these little tiny shoes. I mean, they're baby shoes at best.
4 inches long at the best.
And then these tools they had to use to clean out all the because the feet would grow goofy and stuff.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
they're little metal tools, kind of some scoops and some little points and some of that kind of
we're
stuff.
in a big art room, probably 30 by 25 or 25, so all these old Japanese portraits. So the person that donated that said they were Japanese woodcuts. They said they're $15,000 each. I didn't know. But you notice how nice the framing. We had a guy, a professional framer. There's a Roman toothpick, 1,500-year-old toothpick, brass toothpick, cleaned the teeth. The odd thing, all these things that clean things is what it is. This place never ends. You're seeing just a tenth of it right now of what ends.
Right.
And
this is a bronze toothpick. It says 1,600 years old, found in Hebron, the Holy Land. Wow.
One of the last things in here, the Bushman did this big portrait about 4 foot by 3. You're getting me to describe things. 4 foot by 3 foot. Shows if it's big as Bushman did this. Little kid's sick. Shows the graphics of the kid being sick all the way up to kid getting well and everything else.
And this is just it's kind of a design picture. And I guess if you didn't know that that's what that was about, you'd just think it was a real cool design. But inside of this room, we've got all kinds of pictures on the wall too. I mean, we've kind of hit on some of the classic things that you've got, but you've got a lot of really nice art picture work. Of
when you come to a museum of Clean, you wouldn't expect to see a nice art gallery, but you can spend an hour or two in there if you were to read everything. But
oh yeah. And then this display that we're coming to now this one here is really cool. It's called the Orchestra of Clean.
So we got all these characters playing different things, playing the can, playing the tub, playing the horns, playing the squeegee. They're all playing some cleaning instrument. My favorite one is Clem Cadiddlehopper. You're too young to know who Clem Cadiddlehopper is.
I don't know who Clem Cadiddlehopper is.
My mom used to say that all the time.
Red Skeleton, he was a...
Okay, I remember Red Skeleton. But here we've got, he's got it closed in with ropes like museums do. And he's got French horn and trumpet and different cases that are holding the rope up. But back behind us, we have all kinds of artwork that's just, how would you describe it? You've got different art type people that are playing different things, like cymbals. We've got garbage can lids. We've got gongs made out of old the wringer washer lids. We've got keyboards on ironing boards, washboard with some sort of a monster playing it. It's got kind of a monsterish type head, and just aliens. What were the aliens playing? The aliens are playing saxophone and a flute made out of vacuum cleaner attachments.
That kind of sums that up. The big one here, this is a showpiece of the whole thing. It's about 12, 15 foot high. It's a great big, and it's weighs 3,000 pounds. It's like a big covered wagon. It's the world's first vacuum, 1902, pulled by a horse. They pulled it down the streets of London, pulled it down the street, started the big thing. It had a big crank on it. You cranked a big engine up.
And is this an old hit and miss motor?
Yes, there's a motor,
Okay.
The thing made a lot of noise, but 19.2, but then they ran this hose up outside, up into the room outside the street, just kind of like the trucks today that back up to your place and clean them. This is a 19.2, but can you imagine how old this thing was, how loud this thing would be?
Oh, yeah. And so he'd just go around to all the houses, and the housewife would take the vacuum cleaner hose up and
Yes.
vacuum the house, and then he'd move down to the next one. This is a horse-drawn vacuum cleaner. This thing's big. And it's got the old hit and miss motor in the back, which is just a small motor. Well, it's not really small. But then it's got a vacuum pump that goes into a vacuum container, and then the hose comes out of that so that it would hold enough vacuum to be able to suck.
I remember this thing is big as a small delivery van. It's big.
Yeah, it's big, and it's horse-drawn. It shows it being drawn by one horse, but I almost wonder if a team wouldn't have maybe pulled it. There is a picture of it being pulled with a team, because there's a lot of weight here.
There is. It's really interesting. This one little tiny vacuum I've got sitting here to give as much suction as this great big one did. So
made it smaller and more powerful, but yeah. And then here's another work of art that looks like a tricycle with vacuum attachments and stuff on it.
We tell everybody that's our pre-electric vacuum, pre-electric in 1830 before electricity, street vacuum. That's what we tell people, but I don't think it is. This is really interesting here. These sweepers. Everybody knows what the Bissell sweepers are. Mr. Bissell invented these sweepers in 1870, and he died. And that picture looks like he died on the bed. And he died, and Mrs. Bissell took over the factory in 1870. Mrs. Bissell became the first CEO, a woman CEO of that time. She was a woman over Bissell, and it was a Bissell. So we make that claim, the first woman CEO was a Bissell thing.
But these are a lot of these push vacuums, like what you see sweepers, like what you see in the restaurant when you're eating, and it doesn't make any noise, but it runs around and sweeps up stuff.
But look at this one. It's 100 years old. I got a kid sweeper, and then I got a smaller one, an apartment sweeper, then a smaller one, a house sweeper, and a hotel sweeper, and a Texas sweeper.
The Texas sweeper is huge. That thing's got to be 2 foot wide and
foot and a half deep.
Yeah, 1.5 foot deep, and it's got the little rollers on it to run the little sweepers to sweep things up.
And they're all in one display.
Yes.
Of course, we have a few people love their Kirby, so one place I made a special place for Kirby's. And Kirby vacuum now, I tell people they're $3,000 now. And people say, "Wow, you're kidding me!" So people love their Kirby's. We also fool the guests. We got all these attachments. You know, we make fun of the attachments.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Look, I got a nose picker, a shoelace stretcher, a grape peeler, a cockroach groomer."
Those were all advertised?
Yeah, I told all the blondes from California say, "Really, Mr. Yes." Then I make people guess on this one. This came with that $300,000 purchase. This one came. I got a hand thing. It's about 11 inches by 11 inches, with a little hand, lots of holes in the bottom, some velvet. We didn't know what it was when we got it. We'd vacuum one thing, and we didn't know what it vacuumed. It's kind of neat. It fell on the bottom and everything. Guess what that vacuumed, Loren? Nobody ever guesses, but it takes about, we had it 2 or 3 months before we found out.
You're going to have to tell me.
6-year-old came in and told me what it was one day. Mr. Adams, that's a pool table vacuum.
Oh!
Now you can see it, right?
You can, yeah.
You can,
So
yeah.
how'd
Oh
you-
yeah, it's got a brush on the front and felt on the back, and
It's green.
it's green. It's pool table color.
Yep.
Wow.
Smart kid.
Yeah, he was a smart kid. I said, "Well, how'd you know that?" He said, "My dad's a pool shark," the kid said. And this big vacuum is about 3 foot high. It looks like a big 5-gallon thing. It caused a lot of divorces, this vacuum did. You know why it did? Guess what came with it?
The maid?
The French maid came with it. Yeah, that was one of the times.
Really? You bought the vacuum cleaner and you got a maid too?
Yes. But all these are some of the first ones I got. These are the pre-electric ones you so well described over there. That's out of England, that's Zorst, and that's out of Germany. All these are different sites. Now, of course,
And these are all run by hand,
all of them.
or else mechanically by the wheels on the back as you pushed them around.
Exactly. These are all the hand vacs people buy, like the dustbusters. And I think they're worthless, but they're 100 years old.
And these ones here are all electric. One of them here is made by Singer, Royal. We've got lots of different.
They're about 1950s, 1940s, but they're worthless. I think they're my opinion is they're worthless. They don't vacuum very much. They make a lot of noise, but they don't really.
But the noise is what's important because then you think you're doing something
That's
good.
exactly psychological. Summed it up. You'll notice this display looks like a display of guns, but this is one where the man would sit on this one. The guy would stand on this and go back and forth with the handle. Beautiful thing, and had a big long.
Now you'd
hose.
stand on that?
Stand with one foot on both sides.
This looks like
Exercise machine.
like an exercise machine, really. It's got a handle that comes up in front, and you've got two pads that you stand on that are bellow operated, and you kind of, like an elliptical machine.
Yes.
And the handle goes back and forth. No wonder people back in those days, you don't see very many heavy ones.
Boy, you couldn't. Very big.
And these hand-operated ones that you got to lift the handle up and down. Your shoulders had to have been tough by the time you got through vacuuming a halfway decent-sized floor with these hand-operated.
Now I asked you, and I asked Linda, I asked you people, who was Rhett Butler?
Who was
Rhett Butler?
Rhett Butler? Don't know.
Scarlett. She knows.
I know who it is. The big movie.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind, yeah.
Okay.
I knew you were Loren.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't get around TV too much
I asked
to watch
that question
stuff.
because this came in
Frankly,
Clark Gable.
Frankly, madame, I don't give a dear.
Yeah. Anyway, that's exactly right. This is 1856. It's been when Gone with the Wind was made. You know this. This is the drapes that she made the dress out of, and Gone with the Wind and everything.
Wow.
So anytime we, I don't think they actually dressed, but I don't think we had it was exactly the same color. We have a Civil War hat, but that's 1850, and I think it's really interesting to have that sweeper.
Yeah.
Same time Gone with the Wind. We try to relate things with the movie at the time or something at the time. So 1856 doesn't mean much, but you say Gone with the Wind, and people do.
Now, was this more of a sweeper type, or was it an actual vacuum?
No, it didn't. It was a sweeper.
Just a sweeper, yeah.
The one time you had vacuum, you had to suck air if you had a vacuum.
Yeah.
Interesting, we ask questions like I always get a question when I'm giving a tour, like, if I say the word Packard, what do you think? What do you think?
Cars.
Okay, you're smart, but
Ask the man that owns one.
That's the thing. You're very, very good.
We just were at the car museum up in Deer Lodge, Montana here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you're so good on that because most people don't know what a Packard is. The last one was made in 1956. So they say Hewlett Packard and everything. So I can tell the people that are wise enough. You notice I have a vacuum. It's Packard vacuum made by the Packard company.
Oh, really?
Then notice a vacuum here, Singer. What does Singer make?
Yeah. And Royal, that's still around too,
Yes,
isn't it?
that is. What about Hamilton Beach? What did Hamilton Beach make?
Kitchen appliances.
Got them all. We have people as much as we can. They go to the museum. We let them participate. We ask questions like this.
But even the old Eurekas, I mean, we're looking at old vacuum cleaners. What's the time period of these? 1924, 1917?
1915.
1935?
These are I don't have much electric stuff here, but this is kind of when electricity came in. Sears had one that came out. Eureka had one.
It's kind of like a lot of that old stuff. There were 100 manufacturers, and now you got 4 or 5.
You're exactly right.
The Oric.
Mr. Oric gave me these two. His first two, Mr. Oric gave me his first two. They were pretty famous vacuum.
And these are the first 2 that were made?
I don't know what he said.
Oh.
He said when probably not, probably the first, but he personally gave them to him.
Those advertisements were hot and heavy through the 80s and 90s.
They were. Motels didn't use them very much. These are, I got up to 9,000 employees in my business, but most of my people, I owned thousands of these. These were backpacks that went on the vacuum, strapped on your back.
Right.
On a spaceship. They were invented in Idaho and made in Boise. Now they're made in Mexico. I have an explosion-proof vacuum here, one from the atomic energy site, so if you have the fumes and the thing won't explode.
Really? And is that super heavy iron? Or?
Yes, it's just encased so the spark won't ignite anything in there.
And this vacuum, it's about 3.5 foot tall.
Looks like a.
And it's tiered. It's got a bigger base than a smaller one than a smaller one. And it's just all the outlets for your vacuum hoses and stuff are 1/4-inch steel, it looks like.
It's 1950s. It's pretty modern, but people like it. It's called the Pig, compact.
I had one of those.
Yeah. See, Linda says you have one of those.
Had.
Here, I'll have to show you.
That one kind of looks like the old Eureka ones that you used to drag around behind you.
You can describe this, but this vacuum looks like a normal one today. It's got the bag. It's got everything. Looks natural. Looks good and everything. But it has no electric cord, and it's 100 years old. How did it work? You had to hypnotize this one. Oh, sucky, sucky vacuum. Oh, you will suck.
Oh. Okay, now he's pushing this vacuum cleaner, and it's like those little rev-up cars that you run across the floor and then pick up and do it again and again and again. But when he's pushing this, it's about like pushing a push lawnmower. It's not something that's real easy to push. And it's still going. He quit a couple, probably 30 seconds ago, a minute ago, and this thing's still revving. So, wow, yeah, that is really cool. It looks just like all the other electric ones of the time, but has the wind-up motor in it.
Yeah, then you see, we got a little in mind. I told you, as we talked about before, we said kids stuff is hard to find. I found a 100-year-old kid Bissell. It didn't work or anything. Help mommy clean, they say, but
it doesn't have the little brushes in it or anything to really help mom. But
the little 2-year-olds said, "Mom, do I look stupid or something?" Mom, no, it doesn't work. But look what I
But
found.
you know, I've had kids work with the little chainsaws that go rum 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 too, and they think they're cutting wood. So
I paid $1,200 for this, but this is one of that little Bissell. It's a little tiny Bissell. It's only 12 inches, 8 inches by 5.
yeah, it's small, but it's got all the brushes and everything else in
a
it.
salesman's sample or actually made for.
Wow.
And of course, you see this big vacuum here. We got a lot all through Texas. There's a big 2-foot vacuum thing.
Yeah, it's at least 2 foot wide across the front.
Of course, it's Texas vacuum. What do you expect? You know? This is another machine that was really neat. I'm showing you some of the unique stuff. I'm trying to get over there's a lot of things you'd expect this museum, but these things you don't expect. This is a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum, something in an old school. It's in 1892. What was this vacuum in an old school? It's 1982. Thing slides across the top. It's about 3 foot long.
And it's sitting horizontal instead of vertical.
Yes.
And it's got a slide on top. But what operated the slide? Hand?
That little hand cap. You did this by hand, one at a time. So guess what this
Something
vacuum?
right there?
That's a suction.
Is it like a
The suction comes down
eraser.
into here.
Linda, you are so smart. Good thing you're doing this with your.
Oh, that's what it's for.
You hit them together like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You put the little eraser in that little slot and you do it by hand. The machine did it.
Okay, so we're looking at a vacuum cleaner that's on a piece of oak that's like the old hand operated vacuums, and it's got a little canister down on the end. And the top slide looks, if you're familiar with what a wood planer looks like, it looks like that, and then has a handle that goes back and forth that's just the right size for the erasers for the chalkboards. And then it goes over a port that has 6 holes in it, and as you ran that eraser over it, it would vacuum the eraser off.
And that is well.
And then take the felts off, take all the chalk out of the felt.
That is really good. That's really, I never heard it described that well before. That is exactly right.
This is really a cool piece. That had to be pretty rare. Well, maybe they had them in every school. I don't know.
You had to be pretty rich, I think. Most of the time we went and hid them, we sent us down the basement, we hid them together with our hand.
Right, yeah. And then the janitor could come pick up the dust.
This is one of the most unique things in the museum. This easy chair looks really good, but what people don't know, that vacuum was put under the chair. The vacuum was put under the chair, and then the man would sit in the chair, and he would rock. And I would get suction. While he rocked, the woman would vacuum.
Okay, yeah, there's a bellow that as the chair rocks forward, it's compressed, and as you rock back, it's expanded. Or opposite, as you...
Either way,
yeah. And it creates the bellow, and so the man would come home from work, sit in that and read his newspaper, and his wife would get to run around and vacuum. It seems like a fair way to do things. I mean, I'll bet she was really excited when he came home and said, "Honey, look what I brought home, a new chair, and you get a vacuum."
You're really funny. I tell everybody that's where the word lazy boy came from.
Where the word lazy boy came from, exactly.
These others are hard to describe, but these are 1870s. These little pieces, these are 1870s and 1869. Can you believe they had vacuums? Most of them are sweepers and vacuums combined.
And a lot of these are run with hand crank with a leather pulley, kind of like how the old Singer sewing machines were run.
Exactly right. Exactly.
And it would run the sweeper and the bellows.
Very good. That's exactly. Really, really unique. 1869. I mean, some of these 1902. They're really old.
You would have thought that back then they had dirt floors and they wouldn't have had to have vacuum cleaners, but I guess I'm thinking of maybe out west versus back east, where the fineries were.
They did have carpets. They didn't have rugs. Or they had rugs. They didn't have carpet. Right here, you're seeing an Electrolux vacuum made into a car. Somebody did and got it in a magazine about 20 years ago. Really, really clever.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, people do clever things. We took humor and put it to cleaning, applied humor to cleaning, and it works.
And we're looking at an old Electrolux vacuum that they put a toy motor in and a little seat and cut it and put some wheels on it, and it's a neat little piece of art.
Now, Electroluxes were sold door to door. They were a pretty famous vacuum. People liked Electrolux, but you see, I found the first one in 1924, 1927. It's a real interesting thing, Loren, that people don't know about these things during the war. During the Second World War, people quit making what they made. Guess what Electrolux made?
Machine guns.
Made machine gun parts.
So they converted to a machine gun factory, and then, wow. A pneumatic cleaner. You've got a canister here that's like the size of maybe like a 25-gallon drum,
That was
15-gallon drum.
The little one, they're both the exact same company, but this ran by the pulley, like you just said. But 1 year later, they got electricity on this, so this one had the electricity where you plugged it in.
Okay. And the plug-in on that is one that you screw into a light socket.
Yeah, in those days, we didn't have
Wow.
My favorite thing in the museum is this one right here.
Okay, we're looking at an extremely rare vacuum. What year is it? 1914?
That's 1904. They're wrong. It's 1904 Kirby.
Oh, a Kirby. Oh, it's an inchworm. So you squeeze down on the handle, and the bellow comes back with the wheels on the back and the suction head on the front. And when you push down, it opens up, and then you move forward, and the bellows close up in order to create the suction. So you just walk along pushing down on the handle in order to make it work.
I consider that the most valuable thing in the museum. I wouldn't sell it for $10,000. It's really, really unique. Plus, to see it like you described it, everybody reacts like you did. Oh, look at that! It's really neat.
That's a really neat design.
And this little thing's no bigger than in one little hand, but it's a full vacuum cleaner. Guess what they use it for?
I already cheated.
You read that?
I know what that is, but this is really cool. It's got a piece that you hook onto the exhaust pipe of your car, and then it goes down into a smaller venturi so that it creates more air going through, and then the vacuum hose comes off the bottom so that you can vacuum your car by using the exhaust from your car, and the pressure coming out of the exhaust creates the suction.
Well, we couldn't say that.
Did you take a picture of that for Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he's got a Model A, so it'd be right in his time frame. My editor, and this is just really cool. And
let me show you something really cool.
Okay.
I know we're getting a lot of material, but
we're coming into the library now. He's got a lot of books in here, a lot of research material.
a lot of books. We've written 42 books. I've written 42 books. I'm the biggest bookseller in Idaho. I've sold 3 million books.
All on cleaning.
No, we like cleaning, things related to cleaning and getting more done and everything. But I've done a lot of TV and a lot of things like this. I've done Oprah. All in those days, you did a lot of media. But this went 4 million miles in media. But first one of you can tell me what this. I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to hold this up so they can see it. What this is made of. This little notebook I carry.
It's an outhouse.
Oh, good. So then Loren,
It's a briefcase or a brief folder. I don't know if it's really a case, but it's a brief folder with handles on it, made out of leather, and all the tooling makes an outhouse. It's got the little hinges on it and the moon and all of that kind of stuff. That is just really, really neat.
I had leather. This thing's for millions of miles. I've had it 30 years. It was really good.
Wow.
And I told you this is a piano cleaner. I paid $1,200 a 200-year-old piano cleaner.
And again, it's a bellow operated, little suction on the front, universal Straubinger.
You speak German.
No, I just sounded it out the only way I knew how.
But I paid $1,100 for this. I thought it was so valuable. A couple months later, I found one on eBay for $4.95. So what we do, we bring people.
You're not supposed to look at eBay.
I know. I don't do eBay. Anyway, the whole thing, this whole museum, the whole message, this whole museum, Loren, is find me a better word than clean. I think clean solves all the problems of the world. I think I'm the most important museum in the world. I'm selling the more important message. Clean changes life. Be clean, not how to clean. Find me clean health, clean food, clean air, clean water, clean teeth, clean our region. You think about it, clean language, clean conscience, clean lens, clean glasses. Every place you say clean, we'd solve almost the mental, moral, and physical and spiritual problems with clean. So that's when people come in here, that's why I have that up here. And people say, why at 85 and having all these business, but why are you doing this? I said, the Savior said, feed my sheep, and this has been the funnest thing. I have people like you and people coming all over the world to see this. That's why I do it. But that's our message.
I think you're right on that when you think about it.
I'll tell you why. I'll show you this rope, and I tell people, guess where this rope came from? The guy who escaped out of jail with this rope. How'd he do it?
Is that a toilet paper rope?
Loren, you're smarter than you look.
No, I just go to a lot of museums. Yeah, it's a lot smarter than I look. I hope anyway.
You're exactly right.
Because the looks aren't much.
Nobody will believe that, but it's made out of one roll of toilet paper and some dental floss. And the guy who was 180 pounds threw it, made a rope, threw it up, and got out of it.
They had one on display. I just saw this 2 to 3 weeks ago. They had one on display at the prison museum in Deer Lodge, Montana, and she was telling the story about it.
So isn't that interesting? But I got one that relates to clean. See, that's interesting. We've seen these before. Clean's the hard sell, as I told you before. Your little snot behavior, you clean your room. We use clean to punish kids. But guess what? Now and I was always the urinal colonel. My wife was always the latrine queen, and we were the janitors were talked down to, and low image and everything. But I changed that nationally. But anyway, there's a game out called 10 Days in the USA. I got this box I'm holding that you're looking at. What they did, they went through the whole USA and went through every state and picked one thing in every state. They picked one thing in every state, and the whole state was the most important thing to see when you go to the United States. Guess what they picked for Idaho?
Museum of Clean. And I can see why. This museum is just, to be right honest with you, when I called down here to set up this appointment, I'm going, okay, so what am I going to go see? 20 mule team box of borax? That's what I was expecting to come in here and see, Clorox or, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Walking into this thing, your eyes just bug out, and it's like, whoa! I had no clue that this was what it is.
It is. It's exciting. And of course, as you said, I've written a lot of books. I've had a lot of bestsellers. They're all my books over there that I use, and I use this stuff in there. Big family. We use this. My wife's a genealogist. She died. But anyway, of course, I'm from Idaho, so. There's another good one for you. When you invented anything, you always had to make a small. Whenever you invented anything, you had to make a small imitation of the real thing, a prototype.
Right.
So you see that machine, that little machine is made. That's a 30-foot rug shampooer right there. It's made only 8-10 inches.
Right.
So Loren? What are high heel shoes called? What's the name for high heel shoes?
I don't know.
Starts with a P.
Pumps.
Very good.
Pumps.
Where did pumps come from?
I'm seeing this now. Now that is an interesting. He's got a photograph here. He doesn't have the actual things, but there's bellows that are on the bottom of shoes that are attached to another tube that is a vacuum cleaner. And as she walked, that would pump the bellows and again create the suction to be able to vacuum. Now, okay, are these just one-way bellows to where they only suck?
Yes, they couldn't. I guess if you wanted to blow, they could blow, but what good would that do?
Well, yeah, because you'd be sucking stuff in and blowing it right back out. So these must have had a one-way valve in them to make it to where they only sucked.
We used to, about 1910, 1912 when we started sucking things, but before that it was all blowing.
Okay.
Of course, that's when we know it's made out of pig gut. This is the most unique thing in the museum, 1869. This thing you see is the most. It's in a glass case, it looks like New York.
Right.
But it was a prototype of a vacuum cleaner that went up, had bellows that went up and down. It's about 12 inches by 12 inches. It was never manufactured. It's just this is a model and bought until they took to the patent office.
Wow.
Kind of neat to do it.
And there we've got about a 12-foot or 12-inch by 12-inch box that has bellows up on top, and as you wheeled it, it looks like it would make the bellows go around.
You notice you see everything's big. We have a big garbage can upside down, about 15 foot high, 14 foot high. You know, but now the garbage cans are gone, they're all plastic, but kids are impressed when they come to the museum. They walk inside of a garbage can.
Right.
And we teach kids to
And it
drive.
says that Americans toss out 195 million of tons of garbage, enough to fill 108,000 garbage trucks.
That's in 1 year. We teach kids
Wow.
to adopt a highway, and they come in the museum and they say, no, to clean up after people is good, but to adopt a habit, not clean it out, don't throw it out in the first place, that's what you do.
Right.
Now, so far, Loren, just for we skimmed about 1/10 of this museum.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. We've covered some of the main things. I have a lot of humor. I have a picture of a dog here, and I call that the Mopador dog. It looks just like a mop. It's a dog. Picture of a dog. We call it a Bavarian mop hound, and most of the tourists will fall for it. You also see I called NASA and wanted to get a toilet that went to the moon. And they were just tubes, so they sent me, this out of the Space Shuttle Discovery. The trash compactor.
And we're looking at a box here that's probably 2 foot high, 18 inches wide, that has two handles on it. And I'm assuming and it's got about a 6-inch hole with a garbage bag in it. And you throw your garbage in there and pull the two handles together, and it compacts the trash.
That's what it was. And this is pretty unique.
And we got a gallery here with a younger you.
Oh man, don't even look at it.
It's a video that's playing on one of the shows that you were on.
This car you see right here, we did a soapbox derby. You heard of soapbox
Right,
derby.
oh yeah.
Had to be all made. The car had to be made out of cloning things. Very clever. This whole car looks like a little Model A, but it's made out of different things. And they got garbage can fenders. Well, you describe it.
Well, you got garbage can fenders. You've got a washboard for the side piece that comes down along the engine. The hood, the hood sides. Looks like a Model A. It's got a dustpan in the front for the radiator, a toilet for the hood ornament, a little plastic toilet, two plungers for the headlights. It's got a squeegee for the visor. Now, isn't that interesting? Half of a garbage can, plastic garbage can for the lid, a toilet flusher for the door handle, toilet seat for the rumble seat in the back, and a little brush for the tail light.
Guess what stumps everybody though, Loren? Guess what stumps everybody?
What's that?
Nobody can guess what the bumpers are.
I know what that is. It's a dust mop holder.
Dust mop holder for the bumper.
Nobody gets it. Nobody knows. Boy, you're pretty good.
I used to be a custodian.
I knew there was something about you I liked. Very few people. I got 20 people. Nobody will guess it ever. This is all new. What you see is all new. There's going to be roof sheep. Roof sheep. Roof sheep. The sheep are up. Good.
That's cute.
He says roof sheep, and a sheep starts maaing from the back here.
Anyway, this building is 100 years old. Most beautiful building in town. Really gorgeous, gorgeous building. And one of the great movies ever made. You ever seen that movie?
Quiet Man? No.
Greatest movie ever
He's
made.
got a video going that has lots of different cleaning things. I saw Mrs. Doubtfire on it at one point in time, and I can't remember some of the other ones. Far and away, they're cleaning on a washboard.
Andy Griffin, when he walked in, all the toilets saluted when he walked in.
Again, a bunch of hand crank. Are these washing machines?
Oh no, come on, these are all vacuum cleaners.
Oh, they're still vacuum cleaners.
Isn't that gorgeous? Look how
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
The design on these things and the ingenuity is just amazing.
We have a Hall of Fame. We teach a lot of principles. We teach people principles. They come through this place. Who's that? The one place we got one volleyball with a face on it, and most people know who that is.
Wilson.
We have Wilson in the thing. We picked him up out of the ocean. we teach. You're going to find a lot of print stuff. We teach a lot of things about what goes on, all the stuff that's thrown in the ocean, and about all the ecology and everything. Tons of all this. Just like an hour to even read all of this.
Right.
And boy, it's hard to. You see all these machines. Everything has a place. That one buffer sitting over there, the old janitor died, and the parents give it to me, wanted to put on his gravestone on his big floor machine, the buffer. Polished long, he was finally polished off, scrubbed and whatever it's going to be.
We got wringer washers and the old linen presses, and Mr. Clean. We're talking about, how tall is he? 20 feet?
About 20, I think.
20 foot tall, holding a great big mop. Was this outside of one of your?
No, this is
supply
there's
houses?
about 200 of these across the United States, and they were called the Muffler Man. They have them in some service station. You might even see
Right.
one. You've been in your business. You've seen one.
I've seen the Muffler Man. I also have seen really big, tall Paul Bunyans.
That was him. But I found one in Billings. I took the muffler and put the mop in his hand.
Okay. Wow.
But I have fun with tourists.
And you can take pictures in front of him if you want.
You're in a whole green area of beautiful green trees and green stuff. What I do with the public, I always ask them if they know what a currant bush is. A currant bush.
Right. You can plug your cords into it and make everything work.
That's exactly right. And guess what? If there's 20 people and somebody says that, nobody dares laugh. They all believe it. And I said, "That's right, Loren. You're right. Here."
Yeah, that way there you can do your wringer washing out underneath the currant
And I
tree.
said, "Yeah, you plug it right in here and do that." And
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he's got a wringer washer here that's got
Well, you've been over
an
here.
outlet inside of a currant bush.
Now, you saw it before. That was good. But when you get 20 people, nobody dares say they don't know because they don't want to look stupid. And
I'm beyond the point of that. He's got. We must be into the washing section because.
just kind of Linda, put your hand over that, Linda.
She's got her hand over the top of wringer washer,
Where your hand?
and the wringer washer spinning, and he's got the release.
Take your hand over. Take your hand up.
Put your hand over it.
Where your hand? You know why it's doing that? So I got a switch back.
It's got a pump down there that gets discharge pump to get rid of the water, right?
No, I got a switch back here.
Oh.
I try to fool the public.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like
And he's
everything-
got some of the old copper boilers that they used before they had washing machines of any type for boiling the water on a wood stove or on a fire and then using the washboard. And then,
redneck voices, redneck Maytags.
yeah, but here again we've got something that looks kind of like a funnel or like a plunger on a stick. I've seen a lot of them with old galvanized metal.
Right, they're mountain Maytags.
And you put your water in a bucket and then agitate it with the plunger.
When's your birthday? When's your birthday, Linda?
June.
Well, that's pretty good. Notice vacuum cleaners, mops.
Good job.
And that's all played on vacuum cleaner tubes that are cut at different lengths.
Well, I played it all well in my great performance.
Yay!
So it's like a xylophone made out of vacuum cleaner hoses, metal vacuum cleaner hoses, played with a plunger and held up by a mop.
That's cute.
Anyway, a little while ago you mentioned the borax thing. Yeah, we do have one in here. We have old people remember most of this stuff, what it is and where it is.
He's got several boxes of the 20 Mule Team borax.
You're old enough to know what does what. What was the famous word? Does what? You're too young to know this.
I don't know.
Does everything.
Okay.
Does everything?
And he's got lots of old boxes of
Rinso, Lux.
of soaps and boraxes and
Very all these are famous. Back people that are 80 years old or 70 years old know White King, Rinso, Lux, Pete.
yeah. Then lots of old soaps and right colors and liquids and a lot of old containers that had all of your cleaning supplies in it. And then he's got a whole bunch of, we were just talking about the washer plungers. He's got a display here of different washer plungers, and there's some really interesting ones here. He's got a big pot that must have been used to
Boil the clothes.
to heat the water and
Boil the clothes.
and boil the clothes. And then he's got a
Notice that
agitator that looks like a milking stool with 5 little legs on it that are about 10 inches long, and a big handle that comes up for doing all the agitation. And he's also got the metal agitators and the copper agitators. And
notice the quality. The hand puncher, the mountain made things are German. The German things are beautiful, all made of brass and all made on. You mentioned a while you saw. Of course, you've seen a lot of these. You've been through the antique places.
right, just lots of neat looking. This is really kind of an art display in
It is.
itself with the.
Thanks for noticing it. This is the most unique thing. Really, this only the Palmer Hotel in Chicago and in San Francisco had one of these. Laundered money. Big thing, laundered money. They left their money with the front desk, and then they put it in. But the next morning, the money would be laundered and cleaned.
They do the coins and the bills, or just.
Both together.
And this looks like a pivoting rocking chair with a handle on it and 2 cylinders on the side that you drop, I guess, all the money into and wash it back and forth. So is that where they come up with the term money laundering?
I don't know. It must be. It's pretty good.
And this was at motels, huh?
Just the two. The only two we know: San Francisco, Palmer Hotel in San Francisco and in Chicago, Palmer House. Only two we know.
Huh. And again, a large collection of wringer washers. Now, what are these? They look like a pressure canner.
They're just little tiny apartment washers that do one shirt or one pair of pants or one thing at a time.
Oh, okay. And it looks like a big pressure or big water bath canner
About 5 gallon.
that has an electric motor that goes on top that has an agitator that comes down that must wash things out like a wringer washer. All except there isn't a wringer on top. Did you?
I did it by hand.
Did it by hand. And now that's an interesting thing. We're looking at a glass jar that you would put clothes in and put your cleaners in, but it looks to me more like the old butter churns. Yeah, that pivots all the way around instead it has a top crank on it.
This was for lingerie and delicacies.
Okay, and it says on the front, the 5-minute home cleaner.
But I'm sure sometimes your butter tastes like an old bra probably sometimes. So I think they use it for both.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
And that's
glove iron.
That's a what?
Stuck that in the glove and
Oh, he's got a pair of separators that you can put inside your gloves all the way up to the fingers and squeeze down on them like a pair of pliers, and it would open up your gloves so you could clean them.
both if you got good looking legs, but people know what you got here.
They look like hide stretchers to me.
Boy, you're really good. You should know about how you're too young. So you're rich for water.
Rich for water.
No, Linda
He's got two.
it.
He's got two metal,
pant-
not circular,
pant-
but oblong.
Pant stretchers.
What's that?
They're pant stretchers.
Pant stretchers. Yeah, you put them down inside your pant legs, and
Yeah,
that was back when they had creases that you had to have in your
You
pants.
had to have them. You would be a real scab in those days.
Yeah, I would be a real scab in those
Why did we
days.
quit using these? They were really hard to walk in.
You know, you talk about a real scab in those days, but when I look at the old, like, Popular Mechanics magazines and stuff, you always see the guy that's standing over a lathe with a necktie on. And I thought, you know, that guy's got to be the most dangerous guy in the world, or the most trusting guy in the world, because who'd go to work in a machine shop wearing a shirt with a tie?
If
But-
you get caught in that thing, it'd kill him.
But the mechanics and stuff, you know, I mean, they show them in the old Popular Mechanics walking on out with all duded up and uniformed, and
Well, look at all the women. And every picture of woman in here has high heels. Every picture in here, in vacuum cleaners, even 100 years, they all have high heels. I told you I didn't have irons, so I did allow this. The only thing in the museum I allowed that wasn't clean was this. I told this was a slave iron. two steel balls in there, heated up. You click, click, click. You tell if your slave was working anyway. I had the Texas iron, Rhode Island iron.
The Rhode Island iron, it's pretty small.
We have a few of those. Mainly all this we just see. We have an old devil. This will go up on the 5th floor pretty soon.
He's got a dentist display for clean teeth.
In the 20s. We got a frankincense brain machine. We put kids in. Frankincense brain machine. We put kids in front of it. So if you get in front of them, we push a button and they're zapped for the rest of their lives. They do cleaning.
And then you've got a bunch of neck yokes for carrying water, like from a well or a stream, and then coming on back to empty it out. So, and that had to have been quite the deal, because those things are all made out of wood, and they fit on your shoulders and around your neck, which I guess would have made carrying water easier, but that'd be pretty rough if you had to carry 40 gallons of water.
In 1904 in the West, even the women had to, 1904 had to carry water a quarter of a mile. So
wow.
I found an original one, but I made these to look like it, so I didn't ruin them. But you see, we have original.
Right, and it's all cracked and looks like it's been around the block 100 times.
I hand people this cloth, and this is chamois.
Okay.
It's on this little machine. I said, where did I find this? Most people don't know. In my day, we didn't go to gas stations. We went to service stations.
Right.
So this was a service station with chamois, and people don't. So we got this is a 1935 old machine. It was at service stations to clean your windshield.
And when he's talking service station, you pulled up and somebody came out and checked your oil, they checked the air in your tires, they cleaned your windshield, they did everything along with pumping the gas.
Yes. Roll of Texas toilet paper. John.
And it's about 3.5, 4 foot tall and looks like a big roll of toilet paper.
John Wayne toilet paper, all these things.
It's rough and tough and won't take crap off of anybody. Is that the way that John Wayne toilet paper is? And he's got a lot of different toilet paper dispensers, and oh, he's got one that looks like it has a grater on it. That must really be comfortable. And of course, the ancient kind with the corn cob. He's got a corn cob toilet paper here. This is kind of a neat little display. Oh, and I like what they did with this. This is a wringer washer.
Twin tub wringer. Twin tub Dexter.
Twin tub, yeah. And they cut off the front part and made 2 chairs out of it. This is really kind of a neat piece.
They were really dangerous. These ringers were really dangerous. People lost arms, and people had. When their voice goes.
There were a lot of things lost in those ringers.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody brings it up, but they don't want it on air. I got to think from Queen Elizabeth of Austria. It's a toilet from her. Toilet from Queen Elizabeth of Austria, from her.
Elizabeth of Bavaria.
She was very famous, Princess Elizabeth.
And this is what she actually used.
In her yacht, she had 2 of these in her yacht. Paid a lot of money for this.
And you'd what, put water in there and then pump it and it would flush? And then somebody had to empty it.
Yeah, somebody had to carry it around where she left too. And she was going through the city. She didn't want to use other people's toilets, so the worker carried her toilet. It's a portable toilet. Notice also I got these what do you call it?
A lot of bed pans.
Chamber pots. So I turned this one upside down, put it on the kid's head, because it was like, what kind of haircut was that?
Lots of chamber pots. A child's diaper pail that looks like it could also serve as one of the little stock pots. And I have a feeling I know where that came from.
Where?
The jail.
You're right. Everybody's been there, knows what it is.
I've seen one of those. You can go to the bathroom on the bottom end and drink out of the top.
My most famous.
We talked about those when we were in Deer Lodge at the prison too.
They're there. Anyway, I got in Sun Valley, Idaho. I became very famous. I was a big employer in Sun Valley, Idaho. I became very famous. I cleaned the toilets on the mountain and called it the Bowl Patrol. So my daughter put her skis up here, and I put that side. So I became,
and he's got 2 ski poles, one with a plunger bottom and one with a toilet brush on the bottom of it.
what made me really famous was when I started doing a lot of the media. I carried a toilet suitcase everywhere. Let it sit on the top of.
Fragile. If you drop it, it'll spill on you.
I had a lot of this toilet. I did thousands of TV shows. Like, you know, I was on 23 front pages of major newspapers. I got on all the big main shows. Showed up with a toilet suitcase. You were young and you had a cleaning company. You told men to get off their butts. It was easy to get on air. That's all gone now. You can't get on a TV show now. That's how I sold 3 million books. It was easy. The place to do it. You can't now. So I made my $1 million with this.
An electric toilet brush cleaner.
Yeah, it's really neat. I just put an electric cord in this electric bowl cleaner. I didn't fool Loren, but I fooled the blondes.
These are the best toilet cleaners, too.
Yeah, they are.
And we're looking at a suitcase here that he carried around that's probably an 18-inch high. Looks like a toilet. Has a latch on the front so that he could lock his stuff in, and a handle on it so he could carry it around. But it looks, from looking at it from the top, it looks just like a toilet, and it even has a small base on it.
It was made as the Kohler kids' toilet. That's what we molded it on.
Okay.
So I checked this on airplanes. I carried this on a famous picture is me on my toilet suitcase reading the Wall Street Journal. It became a very famous.
Wow.
Anyway, I have all sorts of. The place never ends. Those little outhouses, when you put money in, they explode. People do that.
And then you've got a Civil War surgery station. It's got a sink with water canisters on top. Now, did they heat the water?
I don't know. Civil War, I don't know what they did.
And then he's got 2 pans inside of a holder and a bench, and a mortar and pestle. And then, wow, this is kind of a neat piece. It's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Civil War, I paid a lot for this. This will go up on the top floor in the medical. We have a medical floor we're working on right now.
Okay. And then another case full of shaving supplies and soaps.
All things related to clean.
Wow. And lava soap, that's been around for a long time.
It has. Very rare. Prostitute bathtub.
Okay. And this is one of those little bathtubs like you see in the old photos where you sit down, a sitz bath, your legs kind of came out and you had a back on it and a little armchair. And the cowboy bathtub.
That's actually a good bathtub. You know, in our day, hot water was hard to come by. All the hot water for the house.
Had to be heated on a wood stove or something.
All the hot water in the house came from something like this.
Right. And then you've got galvanized steel tub that it says you bathed in one of these tubs once a week, whether you needed it or not.
I bathed in these until I was 18 years old.
Wow.
I'm 85, so we didn't have water. We didn't have water in the house. All we had was this. I had the kids get in the tub. Pretty hands-on. The kids can't believe it. You make a high school kid get in one of these, they can't believe it. Yeah. But you do it.
Right.
Of course, in my Clint Eastwood bathtub, that one movie he did.
Then he's got several bathtubs, the galvanized steel cowboy type bathtubs. And that one there's a big one.
I don't know how you'd fill that up. I don't know how you'd ever get enough hot water for that. Probably wouldn't.
Probably wouldn't. And then he's got a wood cook stove here that probably was used to heat all of the water
to heat all the cleaning stuff. The only reason I got it, I know it's a stove, but we cleaned with all these things, so that's why it's here.
And then we've got an old hot water heater, a coal-fed hot water heater. That wow, I've never seen one of those.
I hadn't either. It's only there on the side of the stove.
Yeah, they've got a water reservoir on the side of the stove that circulates through the oven and keeps everything warm.
The museum, thank you.
Good. How long have you been here? Just got here?
Pardon me?
How long have you been here?
About an hour? Yeah.
Oh. Have you been up on the 3rd floor yet?
No, we're heading up right now.
It's going to blow you away.
Yeah.
The main floor's blown me away. Oh, and then we got a lounge chair that's got all of the vacuum cleaner hoses for the webbing. Wow.
Pretty neat, huh? They got You know, that takes an hour or two, and I skipped a lot of stuff, but we hit the things that make, you know, it's described it to so many of those voices and so many stuff before you started. The third floor, it's all the third floor is 400 of the most incredible vacuums all displayed. Beautiful floor. I don't know if I'm doing good to talk about it. If you want to see
If you're into it, let's go.
I mean, it's fine.
I'll do 2 or 3 weeks of podcast if that's what I've got here. So I try to keep them between an hour and 2 hours long. And so if this one takes a little bit longer, it's going to take a little bit longer.
Anything you do that helps me, I appreciate.
So I really appreciate you spending your time today and taking us around.
Well, I can't get used to it. You know, I've been used to 14-hour days all my life. I had a lot of businesses, 15 businesses. I had 2 cancers, and but boy, I'll tell you, I can't get my energy back today. Like today, I'm just dead tired. I still work all day.
Well, do you want to call it quits, and I'll go ahead and
let's go up
and go ahead and kind of walk and talk through a bunch more of the museum, or how would you like to do it?
You're intriguing me though. Your descriptions are so good. You say things I forget to say. I thought, man, I wish I was writing this down.
Well, we'll send you a copy when we get this posted.
Good.
I'll send you a copy, and you can sit down and listen to it, or you can put it to your website and link to it.
Thank you very much. Your descriptions are really good.
Well, I really appreciate that, because I wonder if my listeners are getting anything from my descriptions.
If I had never seen him before, I could see what exactly it looked like. That's why I've been going like that. He described that. You described that eraser cleaner so well. I go, yeah, jump out.
Here we go. We're up on the 3rd floor now. And wow. We've got
you folks might wonder where I got that. I got one of these
vacuum cleaners up here. Again, we've got the step-on suction ones. These things are just really interesting. If you've ever seen those balance boards that has a wheel in the middle, and then the board sticks out on both sides, that's what these things kind of look like. All except they've got the pivot point in the middle where the wheel would be, and bellows underneath each side. So you set this down on the floor with the feet solid, and then you just walk or rock back and forth, and it creates the vacuum in order to get the suction to be able to pick things up. And they all have, it looks like maybe a 5 or 6 foot hose. So you must have to move these all over your house, and then stand there and do your rock back and forth and vacuum in a 5 foot circumference, and then move it again and vacuum in another 5 foot circumference. I'm sure it took a long time to make it all work, but these things are just interesting in the design. It really works of art. They're made out of oak. They've got the leather bellows, canisters that are painted up. There's some orange ones and some maroon ones. The maroon ones seem to be the more popular painted ones, along with some black ones, but there are different colors. There's some that haven't been painted at all. They're just galvanized. Some are green.
When I saw even one of these, I was going,
wow.
I got 400.
He's got a vacuum cleaner collection.
There's a crazy guy in Pocatello collecting these.
As I'm walking
it's me.
on around the corner here, he's got old Hoovers, old Eurekas, old Kirby's.
Thank you very much.
I mean, like the whole collection of Kirby's. And just unbelievable how many different types of vacuums. He's got the Eurekas, all time periods of Eurekas here, I would assume, and Hoovers, and Tornadoes, and
condition these are in
the Royals.
40 years old.
And it looks brand new.
30 years old, yeah, it does look brand new. Even the art in the pictures, over 100 pictures of art. 1875, this one is right now.
And that's one of the hand crank with the leather
Singer sewing machine belt.
Sewing machine belt, yeah, that runs the brush on the bottom. A cabinet vacuum cleaner that was made in 1918.
Pretty complicated once you see inside of it.
Really, in order to create the suction and stuff.
There's a little vacuum called the Pig.
And it looks just like a pig. And it's a work of art again, but out of a.
Again, to say we made cleaning just like the people just commented out. We made cleaning fun.
Yes. Man.
Remember 1957? All the cars had fins, right?
Right.
Look at this.
Oh, hey, we got a an Atlas vacuum cleaner, 1957. It's got a plastic base on it that has fins on it that looks just like the 57 Chevy fins.
Yeah, the 57.
It's got the little where the chrome on the 57 Chevy has the little divots underneath the fin. It's got all of that stuff.
Man, that is really good. You're really good. I had a 57 Chev.
Yeah.
Boy, it makes me feel good when I'm on tears. You're describing things I've seen 100 times I didn't think about. You're seeing things I didn't see before.
This is bad because you're the master here. And then a whole bunch of the little tow behind compact vacuum cleaners. Yeah, that you just pulled all over your house. I was never a fan of those. I always get them hung up on the doors or door jams.
I hate those, like dragging a dead dog through the house or a dead sheep.
Just about exactly.
I like him. This guy's good.
Wow.
Me too, I like that.
These are the wall hangers. The walls are covered with these sweepers. These are sweepers. These are sweeper vacuums together. The combination, they have the push.
Right. And he's got a whole wall here. There's probably, what, 50 of those sweepers on the wall?
Yes.
Maybe even more than 50. All different brands, styles. And these are like the ones that you would see in the restaurant that they clean up so they don't make any noise. But there is all kinds of them going way, way back. We got Bissell's, we got Touch-O-Matics, more Bissell's, Duntley, Kruger, Livingston. I mean, just all kinds of different brands here. This is, if you come here and you don't see a vacuum cleaner that you had at some point in time in your life, and I don't care if you're 150 years old, it doesn't exist. It's just amazing how much.
Most people, even if I even just had this much, this many vacuums, it would be phenomenal. But you start to find.
And he's referring to about a 12 by 12 area here. This room is 100 feet long and 40 feet wide.
Yes.
And just packed with vacuums.
All clean and new and beautiful too.
Now, if you've ever had an infatuation with a vacuum cleaner as a kid because your mom chased you around the house and sucked your toes or your hair or put it up against your belly or something, you'll see exactly what your mom had.
Very interesting. All these are interesting.
And the colors, that Hoover over there, that little Hoover canister had to be a 1970 model.
Yes,
It's
very,
a
very
lime
good.
Green.
Here's one that's really interesting. Linda, you guys will be interested in this one. This is really, really, really rare, but we found one of these old 200-year or 150-year-old vacuums. And we got inside one of the old Billa ones you've seen, and we got inside and we found this one. It's a little model. This is about 12-inch model. It's a little model. And look what I found on the other side. 1960. What does that say?
1969. J.B. Baker carpet sweeper.
It's original. That's all the stuff's original on it.
And it must have just been a little model for a salesman model or something.
That's what it was, and it was stuck inside of another vacuum. Really,
Now, when we talk about salesman's models, I think that we've touched them at a couple different museums, but I don't know that we've ever explained. Back in the day, you had your Fuller brush man, or your vacuum cleaner salesman, or your wood stove salesman. They couldn't carry a wood stove to your house, or a whole truckload of vacuums to your house. So what they had is a suitcase full of models that were just small, and they would unload, let's say your wood cook stove, they would unload and they'd be able to show you all the features. The stove would be just the same as the regular working model, and then you could go ahead and buy from that model, and when it was delivered to your house, it would be so to scale that you would have the exact same model, all except in full size. And that's what this here must be, is a salesman's model for door-to-door sales. Or
you also had to have one. Anytime you invented anything, you had to take you had to take a 12-inch model, whatever it was, and make it and take it to the patent office.
Oh.
It had to be patent. To get a patent, you had to have a 12-inch model. So that's what makes these they're not salesman models. Some of them might be, but this probably was a patent model.
A patent model, like some of the other ones that you had downstairs.
It has to work.
Okay.
Can't be just a replica.
So you don't just get to make the big one and start production. You've got to start with a
to get a patent.
Wow, I did not realize that part of this.
Well, the filter.
You got the filter queens.
The rainbow. You've heard of the water vacuum.
Oh yeah, the rainbows.
Bad vacuum. But anyway, there's a lot. We got some of the original ones.
Those were high dollar vacuums in their day too, weren't they?
They still are. $2,000. Yeah, they are. I think they're not a good vacuum, but I can't be too opinionated. This is a real interesting thing, Loren. You see this? We've got a picture of Kennedy and Khrushchev here. I got some Russian vacuums when I went to the moon. Of course, one of these you're looking at looks like a rocket.
More than one that I'm looking at looks like this one. This little Kenmore down here looks like a rocket too.
This one you can tell it had Russian writing on it. You don't get things with Russian writing too often.
Yeah, that's because you're looking at it right side up, right?
You are amazing. Let me tell you what.
It's got Kenmore written upside down.
5 years I toured this and showed people Russian writing. I didn't look at it. And one day a little kid went down just like you, and he took it and he said, "What's this Kenmore?" I go, "Oh."
Yeah. Wow, and they do. They look just like missiles. Those must have been 1962 models.
Anyways, by the way, I own that building over there, and it's full of some of our antiques and some more things like that in my books.
Wow.
Phenomenal pieces.
Now, what is this? Is this a water filter on a shower head, or?
You have to read it all, but that's what it does. It's vacuum something. There's a vacuum right there.
Oh, it's a vacuum.
They had all
It looks like a shower head with a glass tube around it.
I read it once, but I was so confused I couldn't get my degree.
It looks like it uses water in order to create the suction.
I think it does.
Okay, so you hook up a hose to it, and you hook it into your sink, and as the water goes through, it creates the suction coming, kind of like that Venturi one for the Model A. Wow.
We didn't have water up here on the top floor, so we kind of had to put the stuff like the sink and everything.
Right.
Amazing. But all these, this whole row of these, just amazing. Hundreds of these. There's 500 up here.
And we're talking about the manual vacuums that they look like bazooka tubes or something, that you have the little handle that you pull back and forth and it sucks.
Commercials are really good. Yeah. Everybody asks me what's the best vacuum in the market. Of course, there's Venturi, there's really good vacuums. My favorite of all vacuums still is the old Eureka 788 in all at the motel.
The old commercial sanitaire.
Sanitaire, you're right. How did you know that?
Because I worked for a guy in the flooring business that he sold the Eureka sanitaires.
Sanitaires are a good vacuum.
And at the end of every carpet job, he'd do his best to sell one of those. They were pretty expensive. Back in '79, I think they were like $250.
That's about what they were.
And he sold a lot of
about 300, but most vacuums now are $600, so these are still really good ones.
Right. Yeah. He was always talking that, it had 8 amps of vacuum power, and I don't know what all his sales pitch was. But
they always run vacuums. They leave them alone. I mean, look at that. They put all that stuff on them, and they finally don't work. The best vacuum made is still right there, folks. All the ones of all the stuff. I've had 9,000 employees, clean 4 million, 100 million square foot. I still say that's the cheapest and best vacuum to $388. I mean, there's all the $600, $700 vacuums, $2,000 vacuums. Best one. You can vacuum over shoes, vacuum over dead fish, dog biscuits, and just clean them out and keep going.
Yep.
This company, these are really good. This is 30 years old. It's never been plugged in.
Really?
It's like having a brand new Ford Galaxy from 1959. It's never been 1 mile on it.
And now these are all tornadoes, and they're like a shop vac. All of these look like shop vacs.
Interesting thing, but they wanted to store them someplace, and they didn't want room. They said, "We store these in your museum. You're never going to see them again." Look at that, brand new. When you find something 30 years old, it's like finding a brand 1985 car has 1 mile on it.
Right.
Like you dream about.
All except usually when you find them that way, they've been stored in a barn and they're not in that great a shape.
You know, that happened to me. I had a 91 Chrysler, 91 Cadillac was really good. My wife had one really a good car. I found out a guy had a 91, had 7 miles on it. He bought 2 of them. He had 7 miles on it. My son was a car guy, convinced me even to buy that for $12,000 wasn't a good buy. I said, "Get it, a $35,000 car." No, he said, "Find one of those cars. There's a lot of things, like you say, could be wrong with them. The belt's old."
Right. Wow.
This is a lot of work painting all this floor. I sanded all these columns. I sanded these things. That took me days to sand these things down.
Well, it sure looks sharp up here. They're just, wow, that's all I can say. You've got a lot of vacuums up here.
400, around 500.
500 vacuums on this floor.
And most of them are really all unique. My guys have done a really nice job of displaying them.
Oh, yeah.
Good color.
An old Regina, 1892 it says. Is that the year or is that just the model number?
1892.
Yeah.
It's not that old. It's about a 19something, 1904 or 5.
Yeah, I was thinking, but it has that on the bag. And he's talking 500 vacuums upstairs on the 3rd floor. That's not including the 400 that you have on the main floor.
There's probably 300 down there.
We
got about 1,000 altogether, about 1,000 vacuums. We're pretty selective now. We don't have many electrics. A lot of people collect electrics, but to me, they're not 20, 30-year-old vacuums, not old. I like the pre-electrics where the premium is.
Okay.
Nobody's seen, I'd never seen one before. 66 years in the business, I hadn't seen one.
Wow. Yeah, we hit different museums, and I've seen several different of the hand pump vacuums. Nothing like the displays that you have.
These are these are floor machines. I thought, man, this one floor machine, I thought it was a 1930, 1899. I didn't know he had. In 1899, I didn't know he had electric motors. Look at that.
Wow. And you got a floor buffer. Now, were those used like for ceramic tile? They didn't have vinyl floors or linoleum floors at that point in time, so they would have had wood floors and ceramic tile, correct?
They did have some linoleum.
They did have some linoleum that long ago? Wow.
They're in good shape. Look
And these ones here are the ones that'll take you for a ride if you don't keep right on top of things, right?
That's the hernia special.
The hernia special. How much does it weigh?
Over 100 pounds, I couldn't lift it anymore.
Wow.
This is the one that takes you for a ride.
Okay.
I learned one of these. I was going to do a performance in Las Vegas on stage. I never did do it, but I can take a thread and run this thing perfect. And
really?
When you know how to run, like she got that good with it. You get good with these. They're easy. They're not a bit of torque, but if you don't know what you're doing.
I was going to say, every time I've ever tried to use one, I've ended up taking a ride. Then you've got an old laundry press. I remember the next door neighbor lady had one of these presses for pressing shirts and some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, somebody dumped that. I haven't done this with. I've kept this. I haven't done anything with this. It's a dry cleaning plant.
Oh.
I didn't want to throw them away. I thought I'd use them, so I used a couple of them. So I'll probably junk most of that. Just like this, I set this up. I found this old laundromat. From the old days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, some old dryers.
Most of the stuff's repeat stuff. I had the place where they beat the kids.
A rug rack for beating your rugs. Do you have the rug beaters?
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Yeah, and these are wood or wire, and they're kind of ornamental looking. Usually done in kind of a big shape, and it was made for just beating the heck out of the rugs. And I'll bet that more than one kid got corrected, attitude adjustments, or whatever you want to call it with those beaters too.
There's another example of the first ones when I first started. The 30-year-old one, they were both the same age. This was never plugged in, never used, brand new.
Wow.
$400 or $500 machines.
Now we're looking at shop vacs here.
Never used, still in the grease.
And you've got some old carpet cleaners. What in the world is this Tennant? It's a big Tennant machine.
It's big. I call it a Texas vacuum. It's one. I call it pile lifters.
Okay.
Some of the stuff people have seen, but these push these brooms, these floor things. I've never seen.
Oh, little floor polishers. It looks like they've got little bristle brushes on the end of a handle with a little electric motor.
Yeah, down here.
It'd be kind of like a little belt sander that you could run across your floor and clean things up.
You couldn't help me, though. I had to do it by hand.
It looks like you've got a drum sander, a couple of drum sanders.
Here, Linda, turn around. Put your bomb against there.
Okay. Wow, that's a vibrating machine. And what did that clean?
That's a buffer. When it goes to the floor, I put it back up. We had one of the things our company did was make exercise machines out of cleaning things.
Okay.
You see those on the second floor.
Yeah, that'd vibrate the heck out of you. My buns are still tingling.
Anyway, so we run everybody through that. They get a chance to see if that's what a floor feels like.
When you're, you ought to try that, Linda. Yeah, it's all right.
We made a totem pole out of mop buckets, as you can see. A lot of you
Yeah.
kids don't know what a spittoon is, so you know all this clean stuff. You see big. We're looking at big walls like come around the corner. We're looking at big walls of these. Loren, these are all islands of stuff.
They are islands of stuff. I'm looking at an island that's got
Military cleaning.
military helmets and cleaning and an army enema?
Yeah. It is an army enema giver.
Yeah. And head protection helmets.
Well, everything you cleaned with is in here.
Wow, gun cleaning kit. Over here you've got dustpans of all different styles. You've got some really nicely painted ones, some little tiny ones for probably just small messes. Wooden ones. This one here had to have been hand carved. Wow. Just lots of cool stuff in all of these little center islands. Mop buckets, you've got some old wooden mop buckets. They don't even look like they've shrank out that terrible bad. You think they'd still hold water?
Yes,
No?
some of them do.
Huh.
This is all in the basement because this one little part wall is the only clean thing, the tools we actually have. It amazes people. They think that's what the whole museum is. But of course, I got Texas mop. You see the size.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah, that's a huge one.
So, and who's this guy? We have characters. Who's this guy? Who is he? Come on, who's this guy?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you do. Famous singer, cowboy singer.
Oh, Willie Nelson
Yeah, I know
with a
you.
mop head. And are those slippers that have mop heads on the bottom
we
for,
had clothes. Yeah, we had
for
clothes. We had-
skating across your floor?
Yeah, we had that in contest. We had Mop Your Heart bra, Willie Nelson, Texas bras, brooms.
Wow. And then you've got a whole natural fiber broom display with all the natural fibers from all the different countries. You got Cambodia, the USA, horsehair, Australia, Dubai, India, China. And these here are the kind of brooms that they would use
In their country.
in their countries. Wow. Cambodian little hand whisk broom type thing. Guatemala looks like they have kind of a stick broom instead of a bristle.
Poor nation.
Japan, Vietnam. Wow.
We got the Sandman. We got janitor in a drum.
Janitor in a drum. He's standing inside of a drum, like a pound on it drum, musical drum. And then you've got all the super famous cleaning people. You got Mr. Clean, and the second one in line is you, Don Oslett and Arlo Luke, the old Dutch cleaner, John Wayne, sweeping it up. And sweep it up tight, Pilgrim. Elvis has washed the building. He's here. Bull, James Bull.
We put the kids, we're in a Mary Poppins there, in the chimney, we have a chimney here, and we put the kids inside of the chimney.
Okay. This is a kids area that's, like you said, based on Mary Poppins and chimney. You get to get inside the chimney that's all black, and it's pretty dark in here.
Then we give them the kids a black nose, and we have Mary Poppins playing on TV. Because of COVID, we do have the hats and the vests are gone, but generally we dress the kids up.
Oh,
Put them in.
and let them play. Then you've got a great big boiler here. What was this boiler for? Was this
It heated the building.
Oh, okay.
We just dressed it up and fixed it so it fit in here.
So it was already here.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a big building. This building is a 100-year-old, really a famous building. We had vacuum drag races one time, and everybody had to come to bring their vacuum, convert the vacuum into a car.
Okay.
Look how aren't these clever, these vacuums? They all have wheels and they all have jets and they all plug in. We had big race these things and they were really good.
Oh, these are some pretty neat little designs too. You've got the canister vacuums with the rocket points on it and little wheels on them, and hoovers that are, yeah, with bicycle, or well, I guess it's cleaning extenders or whatever. Just lots of little, like soapbox derby type things made out of vacuum cleaners.
They were fun things to do.
Wow. Yeah, this is fun.
They are really neat.
So where'd you race them?
I own a city block over there. We had a big parking lot, and you can see we made a trail.
Okay.
We made a track like that with 3 at a time. We'd push a button. They'd all go
Maybe
down
more like the Pinewood Derby, all except on a bigger
Yes.
scale. Yeah, okay.
So you know about Pinewood
I
Derby,
said
right?
soapbox derby, but I meant Pinewood Derby.
Yeah, I say I confuse those two also.
Wow. Okay. This is just a phenomenal museum,
Let's
Don.
go. Let's do the second floor, and then we'll be done. And then you can go back and know where to go.
Now, like we said here at the very beginning, Don's 85 years old. Just turned 85 yesterday. And
2 cancers also.
2 cancers, and this man's still getting around good. He's taken us to all the different places. I can't even begin to describe how much I appreciate it. He's been a fantastic host, and this museum, just every time I turn around, amazes me. It's really funny. I go to so many museums, and I went to a computer museum in Bozeman. And you go, okay, so what can they have in a computer museum that's even worth looking at? And I get in there, and they've got stuff that just blows my mind. They've got stone tablets, because they cover, you know, from way back, 4,000 years ago, in the event of writing and some of that. They got stone tablets in there. They got sheepskin that is written on. They've got computers from, you know, 1980s and stuff. And you're going, what, you know, do I really want to go to this museum? And you get in there, and you're just mind boggled. And this thing here is beyond. I mean,
yeah, people come in, they don't know what to expect. Most of the time you go to a museum, you know what to expect, but this you don't.
yeah, it's just phenomenal. You know, every time you turn around,
Well,
there's
it
just
took so much work that we tore all the floor up down. It's all new floor. We put the floor down. It's all this is new. We had to redo it.
but it's clean.
Pretty clean.
Okay, and the floor that we were just on is what floor?
Basement.
Oh, we're in the basement. Okay, so we went from the main floor to the 3rd floor to the basement. Now we're going to the 2nd floor.
3rd and 4th floor, or 4th and 5th floor are not open yet. We're working on it.
And what are you going to have up there?
Well, it's a big national soap display on one, and the other's going to be medical floor. Clean as it relates to health.
Oh,
That's going to really be something.
okay.
We'll have to come back.
We will have to come back.
I quickly put had money to save $7 million of my money. I put in this museum, and it eats up pretty fast when it's $200,000 or $300,000 a floor.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty soon you take a big hunks of $200,000 or $300,000 a whack, and so now I'm a little slower developing things. I've done this 100% on my own money too. I've got the endowments. It's just, you know, stuff get people to come to it. What you're doing right now, that really helps.
Right. Wow. That's a lot of money to keep one of these things operating. I can't even imagine what your heat and those kind of bills are. Oh, now this is cool. Varsity clean race cars. Now these ones here are more like the soapbox derby.
Yes, that was like the one downstairs. There's about 20 of these. These are all made out of cleaning things.
Wow. Garbage cans and
That one.
yeah.
You like those wheels? You're a good janitor.
She's
woman.
got the wheels are made out of the buffer pads. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
Little whisk brooms for the front bumpers and
The dustbuster vacuum.
just all kinds of things. These are really pretty cool little cars. Now, how steep of a hill were they racing these down?
Just kind of steep. You know, not steep enough. It's pretty good. They go at 10, 15 miles an hour, but
10 or 15 miles an hour in a wheelbarrow with a dustpan on the front is pretty fast. An old Clark
and
cleaner.
one year we did exercise equipment 1 year.
Oh, did you?
Instead of lifted all the time. Pretty neat exercise machine. So we had,
Wow.
so we had about 20 of these or 30. Another one you got buffer when you said it was an exercise. It was an exercise machine.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. All these exercise
Then
machines.
one year we had a golf tournament.
Okay. And again, he's got golf clubs made out of all kinds of cleaning things. You got a pressure washer with a golf club tip on the end. And
Buffer brush handles.
yeah, lots of, wow.
Okay, Linda, that's the big thing for you.
Water
What does
spigot.
this remind you of?
That's funny. How cute is
A
that?
pipe organ. Does it really play?
No, he just made up. What's that famous for? Who's the guy that did that? Under the Sea. Who's the guy that did that?
Johann Stoppelhaus?
Pipe organ.
Sloppenhaus?
Who was the guy that did the boat that went under the James Mason movie?
I don't know.
Oh, he had the,
I don't watch enough
he
movies.
had the organ. He had the organ that played the crazy that played the organ. They went into the ocean. Kind of a wall
20,000
building.
Leagues Under the
Sea. What do you mean?
Okay.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
He had that organ. It was crazy.
Okay. And this is all made out of the old hand pump vacuums with the bellows and the nozzles that go along the floor or the top parts, but it's a great big pipe organ on a little electric piano base. And the hand pumps, the pump for the pump organ would have been one of the vacuum cleaners that had the bellows that you stepped up and down on.
This is kind of museum. We did this. You'll like this, Linda. One year we had an orchestra. We went to Las Vegas.
Wow.
One year we went to Las Vegas, and we in Las Vegas we went to Las Vegas and we performed. I play the guitar, so I had the two different guitars.
He's got an electric guitar with in a toilet seat bass. He's got another electric guitar that's in a buffer brush. He's got a vacuum cleaner that's a bass guitar. It's a commercial vacuum cleaner that has the bass strings on it.
No, it's yeah. We talk.
Maracas made out of
Spray bottle.
squeeze bottles, squeeze spray bottles with stuff in it.
This produced beautiful music, by the way. We had professional singers, working for me. I had a lot of professional musicians, so all these things. The band sounded really good. We had other things. And those played. He played Bach on this.
Oh, really?
That's so cool.
Have you ever heard of a group called Vocal Trash?
No, under the name, I think.
They came to our county fair quite a few years back. I think that they're still playing, but they did a lot of things with garbage cans for drums and
I heard of them and everything. This is real interesting. Right here we have a piano on the back of a toilet. Had an interesting experience here once. I have the kids who plays the piano, and little kids will play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something on this piano on this toilet. One day I had this woman. She was just a big, large woman, about 6'5" tall. A little girl. I said, "Do you play?" And the little girl said, "No." And the big woman says, "I play." Big Russian woman says, "I play." She had big hands, wasn't heavy, overweight. She was just big. I said, "Oh, really? I'll bet you do." And she sat down. A Russian concert pianist was here for a big performance.
oh wow!
So she was. She sat on this toilet, played some classical music. Blew me away.
And we're talking about an electric keyboard for the toilet bowl cover. So you'd have to sit on the toilet backwards in order to play, but still.
No, we did. You did mention
These are those pinewood derbies.
Pinewood. They all had to be cleaning things.
Okay.
We're 100.
So you got paintbrush and
all these.
wow. There's a whole case full of the pinewood derby stuff. And then the old garbage cans with the Flintstones and Pluto and Peanuts, Snoopy, Kershaw, Red Baron, Tonka Toys, Bullwinkle and Rocky, and Huckleberry Hound. Wow. I don't remember garbage cans like that.
Then we had men cleaning tools. These are,
You got a rifle stock with a
That's funny.
paint roller on the end of it. A golf club with a duster handle on
those
it.
were men tools.
Yeah, man tools. A tennis racket with a dustpan.
The handlebars.
Motors.
Yep.
Converted-
With the vacuum nozzle on it. Percussion muzzle loader with a toilet brush on it. Wow.
A lot of things.
You've got so much interesting stuff here. Oh, and a set of ties from all the different companies. Now, were those promotional items? Or?
I made them.
Oh, you made them, okay.
Bell Telephone, Hoover, Eureka, Mary Maid, Heavy Duty Eureka.
Yeah.
They honored me a couple times through flags over there, everything. Anyway, I was a big Boy Scout. I played ball. This is just all my kids. That's my other toilet suitcase.
Yep.
Or my necktie. Just things I did when I was
And your
young.
book, How I Swept My Way to the Top.
You can have one of those books too when you leave. I got tons of those.
Okay, and we got sandals and shoes that have brushes on the bottom. And we're watching a video where, what video is this? Is this a movie?
I don't know. I've never seen it before.
Oh, you've never seen it before? We've got kids going all around the house with brushes
Brad.
on their shoes
Yeah, where'd you get
and
this?
mops. And what movie is
You
this?
tell him I'm busy.
There you go.
Hey, Brad.
So if you want to see somebody cleaning with
I forgot my cell
shoe
phone. I was totally
brushes,
everything
it's the Pippi Longstockings
all
movie. Both the old one and the new one, I guess. And
Brad,
that's
this
being
is
played
the-
here for everybody to see it. And this is Dawn's first time to see it. Pippi put 50,000 miles on these. Clean humor. A picture of a caveman coming into the cave, and his wife has a doormat out that says "Wipe your knuckles."
We had games.
And basketball hoops made out of toilet seats.
This floor is kind of a kid floor.
Boy Scouts of America.
I was a big Boy Scouter.
Were you?
Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I put a lot of money and a lot of time into that. My life was that. This place doesn't end, but
It doesn't. I think I could come back after touring this with you. I could come back and still spend another day here without any
whatever you want
problem.
to do. I mean, this.
Turn on the green switch and send your red flag flying through the
Yeah.
vacuum tube. So he's got a whole bunch of vacuum tubes here. When you throw your red rag in there, it goes through all these vacuum tubes before it dumps out into a bucket on the side. That's got to be kind of fun.
Kids like it.
I'll bet they do.
It's a whole kids floor.
Yeah, this floor is a lot of fun. Well, Dawn, I really, really appreciate your time today. I appreciate you walking with us, showing us the things, giving us your personal stories.
You're really good though.
This has been a lot of fun.
That really helps me. Help yourself.
Now, do you have a website that people can go to and see some pictures at a gallery?
Yeah,
Or
Brad has that.
Brad has all that
We have all
information?
that.
I know that this is really easy to find. If you get on your GPS, it'll take you right here. If you're going through Pocatello, you're only, what, an hour and a half north of Salt Lake?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours north of Salt Lake. And you're an hour and a half or so from Idaho Falls, Rexburg area.
It's worth the whole trip here to come to see it. It's just,
Oh, it is. I had no idea. If you're anywhere in this vicinity, you need to come see this museum. It's just phenomenal.
We're selling the value of clean, how important clean is, and not how to clean, but still it shows you a little bit how to clean. But be clean is, you know, that's where the bottom line of life is. Be clean. Language, your work, and all the stuff you do. Clean manuscript, clean pod, whatever you clean.
Right.
It all counts. We changed this. We keep trying to add to this to make this so it's kid friendly. Kids leave it alone. Kids don't beat it up. It's pretty high end. Again, a lot of humor.
Right. Oh, there's a lot of humor here. There's a lot of really interesting artwork. Some of the things that have been put together here are just phenomenal. But I always close my podcasts out by saying the world is full of wonder. You need to get out and explore. And this museum is well worth the explore. In fact, it's moving its way right on up into my top 10, which I've been to a lot of museums, and this one here is definitely well worth seeing.
Generally, if people bring a good group, I generally give them a book or two, give people a book. I'm pretty generous with people that come. You know, I've got a lot of books. As I said, I've sold 3 million, but I've got another 80,000 in the warehouse, and sometimes I give a $2 book's better than taking somebody to dinner.
Oh yeah, No, books are definitely good.
Well, I appreciate you. It's been Linda. Thank you. I appreciate your descriptions of everything, and it's really helped me because I see this stuff every day, and you get person you're oh yeah.
Well,
you made it look real.
and I sure appreciate your time, and I hope everybody out in podcast land has an absolutely wonder-filled day.
Hey, tell them that I knew you, and it helped them. I'll probably give them a book if they say they knew you.
Okay, you heard the free offer. If you say you know me, you can get one of Don's books.
Linda's good too. Sings it.
Oh, I guess you can say Linda too. She's a cuter one of the two anyway.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Don.
Appreciate you want to take off. Thank you.
All the roll and go, where am I to go? Meet Johnny, where am I to go? For I'm a young and a sailor lad, and where am I to go?